In this video, we're having a look at the Samsung S25 FE. Hi, I'm Lee. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a lovely day. So this is Samsung's new, I suppose the best word for it would be affordable or more affordable smartphone. The reason why they say it's more affordable is because generally their phones are sort of like $1,800, $1,900 and above, whereas this one comes in at $849 for the 128 gigabyte model and $949 for the 250 gigabyte model. I mean, quite frankly, with that sort of price difference, I think you'd be absolutely nuts to not just go for the $949 one unless you can't afford it. But I mean, $100 for double the storage is pretty much a no-brainer by my perspectives. Let's have a look at some of the specs and some of the things that you get with this phone. So it comes, this is the black model. Here in Australia, you get 3 different colors. You've got this black one. You've also got a icy blue and a navy model, I believe. And then in terms of specs, it's got a fingerprint scanner on the screen here. So you can see there that on the screen, I can just unlock it with my finger. It does also have a face unlock. So if you don't want to use the fingerprint scanner, the face unlock works just fine. That front camera there, I believe, is a 12 megapixel selfie camera, which is quite acceptable. It does 4K on the front camera as well, which is nice. We'll get more into the camera specs when we get down to it. It is a 6.7-inch AMOLED display that has 120 hertz refresh rate. It does do adjustable frame rate, so it'll go all the way down to 0 when you don't, not 0, well, all the way down to 1, I think, when you're not doing anything on the screen. So if there's nothing moving on the screen doesn't need to refresh that much, and so it doesn't need to use that much energy, that much power. Whereas if you are flicking around and looking at your photos, looking at your images, looking at your videos, and you are flicking really quickly through your stuff, you can get up to 120 hertz. Playing games for that kind of stuff as well is really handy. It comes with the latest OS, and it's got a little bit of Samsung stuff put on top. It does also support Gemini AI, so you've got all those AI features, which again, we'll get into those details in a bit. So 6.7-inch AMOLED display. It supports 45 watt charging as well as 15 watt charging wirelessly, which is nice. I really do like phones that have wireless charging. It's a big plus for me, and at this price to be getting wireless charging, I think is pretty decent. While we're on the subject of charging, the battery is a 4900 mAh, whatever the measurement thing is, battery. Samsung says you will get about 28 hours of straight video watching. I haven't tested it dramatically, but I've found that the battery's been pretty darn good. They also say that you can get it from 0 to 65% in 30 minutes, which is pretty good. So if it's really, really low, you can plug it in, get a nice fast charge, get what you need, and then be moving along. Down here on the bottom is where you have your SIM slot. This will take dual SIM, so it'll take micro SIMs, and it'll give you you've got an eSIM as well. eSIM I find really, really useful to have, because if you're traveling, being able to get those data roaming sort of eSIMs to use while you're around, it saves you the hassle of trying to find a local SIM or anything like that. So having normal SIM, normal physical SIM, and eSIM I think is really handy. Unfortunately, you can't put an SD card to expand the memory on this, so that's another reason why, if you can afford the extra $100, I would go for the $949 model with the 256 gigs of storage. In terms of buttons, you have your sleep and wake button over here on the right hand side, and then you also have your volume buttons up and down there, and that's pretty much it for buttons. In terms of the display, as you can see here, I'm watching some videos, and the footage looks quite, I mean, I filmed this, so of course it looks quite good, but the screen is really nice, it's really bright, it's really sharp. So in terms of sort of like the premium feel, without the premium price, I think, for the price, I think you're getting a really, really nice screen. And as you can see here, it looks really, really good. So yeah, in terms of the screen, no issues there. Outside on a bright day, I couldn't find out how many nits it has, but I didn't have any issues looking at it on a bright, although this week in Melbourne, I've struggled to find daylight. But as you can see here, the screen looks nice and sharp, nice and clear, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, absolutely no complaints about the screen on this phone. In terms of gaming, it has the Exynos 2400 chip with 8 gigabytes of RAM. It's not the most, it's not the most powerful chip that you have in this range, but in terms of performance, I've found if you're playing a game where it's like really, really demanding, then you can slow down a little bit. But overall, it performs okay, but probably not best in class in terms of this price range when it comes to processing. But as a general gamer, if gaming is your main focus, this may not be the phone for you, but if you're just a casual gamer, I think it's going to work absolutely just fine. When it comes to durability, this has an IP68 rating, which means it's completely sort of sealed off from dust, so you don't have to worry too much about if you're using it in dusty environments. And in terms of water, it can be submerged in water, I think up to about 1.1 meter for about 30 minutes. That doesn't mean it's waterproof and you should take it as an underwater camera. It just means that if it's in your pocket and you get thrown into a swimming pool, you're not going to have to worry. The phone's going to be absolutely fine. So you can put it in water, but you know, it's not recommended to use it as an underwater device. In terms of updates, the phone will come with 7 years of Android updates and 7 years of security patches. So I think that's, you know, that's pretty good, because I've seen quite a lot of other phones that come with maybe 5 years, maybe 6 years, but actually getting 7 years at this price range, I think is actually a pretty darn good thing, and definitely worth mentioning. In terms of cameras, you've got a 12 megapixel camera here in the front as a selfie camera. You then have a 50 megapixel main wide angle camera. You've got a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, and then you've got an 8 megapixel telephoto zoom. Now, 8 megapixel for the telephoto zoom. I would have preferred if you had a bit more of a powerful camera for the telephoto zoom, but I suppose, you know, to get this phone down to the price range that they've made it, they had to make some sacrifices somewhere. In terms of video specs, now, interesting enough, the spec sheet that I saw said it'll do 4K up to 60 frames per second, but if you have a look here, and we go into, and if we go into video, you can actually go all the way up to 8K at 30 frames per second. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there where the spec sheet said 4K, but there you go, in the camera, you've got 8K, so you can go up to 8K. You can do UHD 30 to 60 frames per second, and then you've got full HD, and then you've got HD. So you can do all these different specs, and you do have that 8K version. Now, getting back to 8K on a phone, I mean, it's there, you've got it, it does work. Like, for example, here's just something that I tried to shoot just as a little test earlier here with 8K. Look, you know what, it's interesting. On the phone, it looks really, really good, but as soon as I put it onto the computer and I look at it on a really big screen, you can see where the 8K is a little bit soft. For lack of a better word, it's a bit mushy. So if you're just going to be looking at your stuff on your phone and other people are going to be looking on the phone, I think 8K is wonderful because it does give you some nice advantages, and you can see how much I can zoom. Well, that you shouldn't do that. But yeah, you can zoom all the way in on an 8K video to be able to do that. So that's pretty nifty that you can do it. And again, if you're just looking at it on a phone, I think it's perfectly reasonable, perfectly usable. I need better skin looking after regime, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I would say most of the time, just shoot in 4K, shoot in HD even if you want to, and that's going to do everything you want. Now, interesting enough, I actually want to play that video back to you, because getting onto the AI stuff, I'm not a huge fan of all the AI stuff, but there are some things with the large language stuff that I think is very useful, and it comes into with the photos and the video. So you've got your typical photo stuff where you can just remove something from a photo, you know, you circle it and you remove it. But a really nice feature that I found on this is that you've got this feature where it'll get rid of background noise. Now, in terms of how good it is, keep in mind, I gave it a really hard test. So this is what I did, is I actually took 4 different streams of traffic noise that I've got as sound effects on my computer and played them while I was going back and trying to see how this would work. So let's go ahead and listen just on here. I can't work out how to export it with the effect applied. So we're just going to listen to it on the phone. And so let's bring up the traffic sound. So this is a thing where I want to do that's too loud. So I'm trying to test how the noise isolation. So that's, you can hear there's a lot of background noise. I've layered 3 traffic sounds on these. So this is going to be a really loud traffic environment, and we'll see how well the AI does in isolating my voice in the. So that's again with the isolation. So yeah, I'm talking over traffic, and I'm just sort of saying general stuff, and we'll see what this sounds like. I look forward to hearing. And that's what it sounds like without. So I mean, it does a heck of a good job. It doesn't get rid of it completely, and it does make my voice in the video a little bit almost tinny a bit. But again, it's trying to do a lot. Here's the thing. So I work in video production, so you know I do this kind of stuff professionally quite a bit. And I've got, much fancier, manual tools and much fancier tools where I can do this on the computer, and I could do a much better job. But the fact that this is being done on a phone and you just tap a button and it kind of does it, for what it is, I think it did a pretty decent job. So yeah, those are some features which I think are really useful. My absolute favorite feature though with the AI on Android stuff with Samsung is you just tap and hold, and that will turn your video automatically into a slow-mo video, which is pretty cool. So that was just shot at normal 30 frames per second, and it's using the large language model stuff. I refuse to call it AI sometimes, because sometimes it just isn't. I know I'm being pedantic and I've probably lost this battle, but that's my thing. Yeah, the fact that you can make it into slow-mo that easily, that is really impressive, because I've got an idea on a technical level what that's actually doing, and it's pretty darn cool. In terms of the actual photos you can get, it's supposed to do really well in low light. I did a couple of low light tests. It did pretty well. I think, again, when you consider the fact that the sensor of the camera is so tiny on these phones, the fact that they can use, some clever software and some clever tricks to improve your low light footage and your low light photos, I think is pretty impressive. So again, for the price, I think you're getting a pretty darn good camera system. In terms of the actual physical look and feel of the phone, I think it definitely has a premium feel. It doesn't feel as premium and as fancy as the S25, but then again the S25 costs twice as much, if not a little bit more than twice as much, so you wouldn't expect the same fanciness. But having said that, I like the feel of the back, nice and smooth. I like the look of it, clean lines. You got a bit more of a thicker bezel down here at the bottom than you do at the top, I think. Maybe I'm just imagining that, but I think you do. Yeah, it's overall, I think from a physical point of view, I think it's a really good looking phone, a really nice looking phone. A nice feature that I like about the Samsung software is you have the sidebar where I don't know if you can see it, but there's this tiny little bit of, you can almost see like just a button there. So if you just flick out from the side, you get this really nice menu that you can just sort of have quick draws, and you can access some apps quickly. Obviously you can customize and do all that kind of stuff. So some nice things with the software that's built in, some nice sort of Android flavored Samsung stuff that they've put in there. So what's my overall thoughts about the Samsung S25 FE? Well, look, I think physically it's a nice looking phone. It's a nice feeling phone. It's nice and light. So that's definitely something that you get, over the bigger, more expensive models, because there's not as much in there. Obviously, probably a lot of it is just a smaller battery, I assume, but it is definitely lighter than the fancier, top of the line models. In terms of specs, I think it definitely holds its own. Again, for gaming, it's just not quite, it's fine, but it's not amazing as you would expect at this price point. The camera's perfectly reasonable. In fact, no, the cameras are better than perfectly reasonable. The cameras are pretty darn nice, again, keeping in mind where the price range is. Look, obviously I'd prefer if it was, $100 cheaper, but then again, I think I'd prefer just about everything in the world was $100 cheaper. So in terms of value, I think it's just there. It's not amazingly good value. It's not bad value. It's good value. It's okay value. I think if you are looking for something that feels a bit more premium with not an overly premium price, I think the Samsung S25 FE is definitely worth having a look at. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it was useful. If you have found it helpful or useful, please like and subscribe. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. I do lots of sort of somewhat random tech every now and again, some electric car stuff. In fact, we've got a road trip video coming up soon where the family and I went up to Mount Buller in a Tesla just to see what it's like to drive an electric car in the snow, which was a non-event, but don't let that fool you. Hopefully the video is still engaging and interesting. But yeah, if you have enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you so much for your support, and we'll catch you on the next one. Safe and happy, whatever it is you're doing. An 8 megabyte, yes? Oh, optical zoom, yeah. Is Samsung's, the screen's a bit dirty. Let's give it a bit of a wipe, because that's going to drive me nuts. That is going to drive me nuts. That was pretty quick and easy. That was, yeah, okay. Hardly any bloopers. I don't know how I'm going to stick that in, but I'll stick that in somehow.